All right, so we are here live to talk about the top agent secrets for crushing online leads. I'm Brett Jennings, and I'm super stoked to be here today with our three panelists that are doing just that. They're crushing it with online leads. And as we start off the conversation today, I just wanted to kind of recap for people. Online is becoming more important than ever. I mean, now that COVID's happened, open houses have gone away. Buyers are moving more and more online. So if you aren't mastering this part of your business, you definitely want to, because it's going to be a growing segment. My commitment today here is to deliver as much value as possible in the next 60 minutes. Really having this conversation with our top three panelists about exactly where they're finding these opportunities, how are they converting them, so you can do the same. Real quick, as the host and panelist here, a host and moderator here, I run Real Estate Experts, and we host a monthly mastermind ourselves, and want to invite you to join us on the monthly basis, because we will continue. If you find the content here valuable today, on the monthly, we will be serving up some great content. So to do so, register at www.thrivethroughtheshift.com. So that's our plug to keep you connected to great content. But let's open it up and talk and introduce our top three panelists here. So first, if you guys can just say your name, a little bit about your business, how long you've been in the business, and what percentage of your business is currently coming from online leads. Enrique, why don't you jump out?
Hey, what's up, guys? Enrique Medellin here, PRG Real Estate. I'm a broker and manage a small team of agents here in the Silicon Valley. I've been doing real estate going on 17 years now. So I may not look that old, but I'm getting up there. I started when I was 20 or 13, right? If Brett liked to say earlier, but yeah. I started when I was 20, and I'll be 37 this year. So it's been a hell of a journey. I've learned a lot. I'm always growing, and I'm here to hopefully deliver some great content, inspire some people, and learn from these other two awesome panelists as well. So happy to be here, and looking forward to everything we got to talk about.
Awesome, man. You're always looking sharp. I love your background and all of it. Just real quick, what percentage of your business comes from online, would you say?
So last year we did about 60 million in real estate business. Probably about 30% of that came from online leads. We also have a mortgage company, and then we also invest in real estate as well. So we're fixing and flipping property and buying rental properties as well.
Love it. Prashant, what about you, man? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your team. You're on mute right now, by the way. Let me unmute you. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so thanks for having me, guys. Really honored to be here. I've got two companies that we focus on: Doors Advisors, which helps other people buy, sell, invest. And we've got a team. We've done about 76 million last year. And then we've got Doors Development, where we do fix and flips and wholesale, the whole gamut, where we go in and buy the properties ourselves. So, one of the big focuses is Doors Advisors, and being a realtor has taught me so much, and I've got to work with really cool people and learn a lot about how to build wealth. So we're trying to take the next step where we're teaching everyone on our team how to invest and become a property owner.
Got it. Love it, man. And what percentage of business would you say currently is coming from online leads for you?
Yeah, probably 30 to 35% total blended average, pretty similar to Enrique.
Great. And then Kelly, our own Kelly Baldwin. When I say our own Kelly Baldwin with Real Estate Experts, tell us a little bit about yourself and your trajectory for success, and how much of your business comes from online.
Sure. Well, thank you everybody for being here. My name is Kelly Baldwin, and so I guess I'm the rookie. I've been in real estate for only 3 years. I started with Brett as an ISA in 2017, and I've been a real estate agent at the end of 2018. In the past year and a half, I've sold almost 50 million, and I have a little bit heavier online conversion rate this year than last year, just because we're not doing open houses. And I've about 50% of my leads have been from online sales this year alone.
Wow, 50%. So I think as we kick the conversation off, I just want to frame it in one thing, right? Because depending on what your level of experience is with online, I think if I talk to 100 agents, most agents will say, oh, online leads, they suck, right? And the question is that true? I think that's a myth. It's not so much what is the truth? The truth is it's not all online leads suck. It's, you need to know how, where to find the right ones, like what are the right lead sources to work and how to work them right. And so today's conversation will be just about that. And we're going to dive into first starting off with like, what are the top 3 online lead sources? And Enrique, maybe if you can just kick it off and share with us briefly what the top 3 sources are for you.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with you, right? It's not that the online leads suck. I think they're not good if you don't know how to work them properly and you don't understand the mindset of an online lead. So I can definitely attest to that. But yeah, Zillow is working for us pretty well. So we do Zillow on our real estate team, and then on our mortgage side, we also advertise with Zillow. So these are people who are coming in to get pre-qualified for a purchase loan, and they don't have an agent. So we get a lot of business coming from that side. And then Redfin, we partnered with Redfin at the beginning of this year, and we've had a lot of success with Redfin, and they're sending us a lot of leads. So that's been working well. And then the last one is probably going to be our fishing pond. So all of our old leads that we've built up over the years are in this huge database where my agents can go in there and fish out of and create opportunities. So those are the ones working for us the best.
Got it. So Redfin, Zillow, and the fishing pond.
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. We'll cut right there because then I can transition to where I ask the next question for someone. So
Cool. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. We also are partners with Redfin. So we get leads from Redfin, which are online leads as well. And then the last one is going to be our pond. So our pond is basically all of our old leads that we've collected over the years. They're in a pond. They're in a database where my agents can come in and kind of fish out of. So those are the 3 that have been really effective for us.
Cool. So Zillow, Redfin, and your fishing pond. That's the fishing pond is something probably other people aren't familiar with. So let's hear from some of the other people. Prashant, let's turn to you. What are you finding are the best 3 lead sources that you're working when it comes to online leads?
Yeah, so, I think we've got a few similar options as well. Like Enrique, we use a similar thing as Zillow, but we just found Realtor to be a little bit more cost efficient. So we do a ton of Realtor.com. And then on top of that, we do have the fishing pond as well. And the way we engage with the fishing pond is typically content or listings that we contact them with Facebook ads, right? And then we also do a ton of email marketing. So we do 2 video emails a month, and we make sure all of our pond leads get that. So in the second they open those videos or click through on the emails, that cues our ISA and sales team to call them and have a conversation with them.
But as far as sources go, you said OpCity. What were the other ones?
OpCity, Realtor, HomeLight.
Realtor and HomeLight. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then Kelly, you where you've close to 50 million in production now from working online. Where are you seeing the best leads coming for you?
Zillow would be the number 1. That's what I've converted the most throughout the year and a half. So before we were actually paying for Zillow leads, anybody can just sign up and pay monthly membership, and they're gonna throw you a few leads. We recently flipped to this new Flex agent. We're one of the premier agents in the area, and so we're getting as many leads as we can handle. And so we're getting a lot of leads. So for example, my phone called 10 times on Saturday alone with new leads from Zillow for people wanting to go out and look at properties. The other lead source that's really great for us is HomeLight, and those are buyers who are ready. They've already are ready to start their home search, and they want a realtor. And then on top of that, the fishing pond, like everybody else, it's just a holding tank of warm leads. And so we also have them set up on drips, and our agents will call, if they need more business or they want more active buyers, they can go in there and fish some people out.
Cool. Awesome. So looking for like the common threads here from all of you guys, it sounds like what you guys are working, whether it's Zillow, whether it's Redfin, whether it's OpCity or it's HomeLight, those are the top 4 that I've heard you guys all ping on here. the difference for those people who are tuning in and listening, when we talk about the spectrum of online leads, like those that are top of the funnel, like Facebook or Google, early in the life cycle versus these ones that these top panelists are talking about, these are what we call bottom of the funnel or like ready to transact buyers. In fact, let me ask this question. Have you guys seen an increase in the number or volume of leads since COVID happened and open houses went away?
Absolutely.
Everyone, right? So the fact is, it's interesting talking to agents. I talk to a lot of agents and have the opportunity to coach a number of them that are, doing between 10 or 20 deals in the market locally. And they would tell me, Brett, most of my business comes from Sphere. And then I get like maybe 30% of my business or 40% of my business from open houses. Well, open houses have gone away, but the buyers haven't, right? Those guys have just moved their buying patterns online. So what we're seeing now is all of those buyers are showing up in the portals like Zillow, like Redfin, if they're not already paired with an agent, and that's how they're getting to, to see these properties. So if you aren't working online leads, I think one takeaway would be one, if you're going to consider it, find one of these, what we call bottom of the funnel sources, Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com or OpCity or HomeLight, where these buyers, are ready to transact. Awesome. Well, Enrique, tell me a little bit about Redfin, because most people know Redfin as an area or a site that has their own agents. So how are you guys working those leads, and how is that working for you?
Yeah, great question. So Redfin has a partner program where they partner up with agents locally, probably because they're probably one of the top search sites, besides Zillow and Realtor.com. But what they do is they partner with local agents, probably for all their overflow of leads. And we partnered with them at the beginning of this year. And you have to qualify. So it's kind of an extensive kind of background process that they go through. You have to have closed at least 15 transactions in the last 12 months. They survey your past clients as well. And I think you got to get like 70% of them have to give you a positive survey. So 3 of the agents in our organization qualified. So they're actually on the call right now, Blanca and Mitch, shout out to them. So myself, Blanca and Mitch are all partners with Redfin. And we're getting a ton of leads from Redfin. In the beginning, it seemed like we were getting all the low price ones that Redfin didn't want to take on. But I think they're getting so many leads that we're getting, between $1 and $2 million buyers, getting assigned to us from Redfin. So what happens is they'll send it out to whoever's partners in that area, and you have to claim the lead. So it's like the first person to respond to that lead to hit yes gets that lead. So one of my partners on my team just put a $2.1 million buyer in contract from a Redfin lead that we got.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
It's what's working.
And Prashant, I know you mentioned OpCity as one that you're using, and was there tell me how is that working for you? And was there a qualification process like Enrique had to go through to do that?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a qualification process, but actually OpCity is very similar to the Zillow Flex program. It's actually the identical program for Realtor.com. So they take the best performing agents and then they send the clients over to them. So it's an identical copy of Zillow Flex. I've just been spending my money with Realtor.com instead of Zillow for the past couple of years. So for that reason, we were one of the first ones that were approached with that. And we get quite a bit of lead flow from them.
Awesome. And then Kelly, what's been your experience with Zillow Flex? So and I want to for everyone who's listening online to understand the difference here. Just like Prashant mentioned, Realtor.com, he was spending money with Realtor.com. Then Realtor.com launched a program called OpCity. OpCity, instead of paying on the credit card, they're going to charge you a referral fee. And just like Enrique and his partner program with Redfin is paying a referral fee to Redfin. So Kelly, your experience was when you first started with us, we were on what we call MVP or market-based pricing. We were paying for impressions to get leads on Zillow. Now that we're on Zillow Flex, what differences are you seeing in either the quality or the number of leads that are coming through?
With the number of leads, it's like night and day. Like I said before, my phone is ringing off the hook starting from probably 7:30 in the morning until 9:15 at night. So the quality of leads, so they're taking, any agent who wants to give them money, they're kind of focusing it more on the top agents in the nation. So they're kind of scaling it back. And we were one of the first teams to be on Zillow Flex. Also, they have the quality of leads are really great as well. And you can kind of pick and choose what area and neighborhood you want to be in and really focus on that. If you want Willow Glen to be your wheelhouse, you can give them that zip code. But the amount of leads, I've probably gotten over 100 calls in the past month. It's just literally as many leads as you can handle. And then you go in to meet them at the property and try to convert them into a purchase. But
Cool. So we can talk about that. But one thing that you guys all touch on that I want to kind of highlight, right, for everyone who's listening in, is the game is changing with online leads. Okay. And what I mean by that is what you're hearing is the major portals like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, they're moving away from a model where agents would pay for leads to a model where they're going to work off of a referral fee. But they're going to be selective in how they do it. Okay. And the reason for that, right, is if you're generating all these leads, who do you want to give them to? Do you want to give them to just any agents? Or do you want to give them to the top 10% that have the highest chance of converting, so you're going to get more referral fees? So that's really where the portals are coming from in this process. So Enrique, it sounds like you were an early adopter there, you, Prashant, and us in our experience with Zillow. Zillow, has got a stated objective to go from, I think they had 70,000 agents across the country that are buying leads from Zillow, and they want to go down to 7,000 partners. So we've been fortunate enough to get selected for the Flex, the first group in the Bay Area to get selected for Flex. And so we are expanding on that opportunity. So, feel free to reach out to us after the call to learn more about that.
Brett, I have a quick question for you. Have you heard of the Open Door Partner Program, or have you heard if they're in the Bay Area and partnering with agents? I've seen articles about Phoenix and other markets. Yeah,
so what Prashant is touching on, Open Door, is an iBuyer, right? So these are companies that are come in and then buy your house, and they're really focused more on sellers. iBuyers haven't entered into our market yet because of the price point. They typically won't go into markets over 500K because of the risk associated with buying and holding a bunch of those houses. HomeLight, however, has created and adopted a program, now it's called Trade-In, which basically they'll come in and they will, Prashant, like if you were my seller, they would come in and say, okay, Prashant, you want to sell and then buy another house. Let's do an appraisal on your property. We'll qualify you, pre-qualify you to cash you out for 90% of your home's value. We're going to provide 90% of that value to you so you can buy the next house. Then you're going to work with Brett. Brett's going to list the property, put it on the market, and sell it at full market value. And then when the property sells at full market value, you're going to get a second check or a true up between what the 90% we gave you and what the final sale price is, obviously less commissions. And so that actually is a really, it's helping a ton of sellers. We're picking up a lot of listings by doing that. But I want to keep the conversation on point, really focusing on the online, on the buyers for now. So let's talk about like your best practices, right? You guys, now that you've got these opportunities coming in, how do you be successful in converting them? Like, and so maybe we'll start with you, Enrique. What are like what you feel are the best practices that you and your team are following to take these like bottom of the funnel opportunities, people who are ready to transact, to get these guys or gals into a house so you guys can get paid?
Yeah, great question, Brett. What I can tell you is I can tell you the mistakes that I made early on when I first started doing Zillow. I probably blew like 30 grand in 1 year on Zillow leads and didn't close a single deal. And that was because my mindset was like, I'm going to pay for leads, I'm going to give them to the agents on my team, and deals are just supposed to close. So it wasn't until having some coaching and some mentorship that I realized that you have to have a system in place. You have to have processes that you're going to follow in order to make sure you know exactly what you're doing from when that lead comes in to when you meet them to converting it to a client and to a sale. So Some of the best practices that we follow right now is we developed a lead management policy where all the agents on our team are trained on what's supposed to happen with every single lead that comes in. And then we utilize our CRM to take care of a lot of the heavy lifting for us. So to give you an example, if a lead comes in today from Redfin that I accept, that automatically is going to go into my CRM. My CRM is automatically going to text it and email it for the next 7 days, multiple times per day. And then the agent has to call the lead as well. So they're getting hit multiple times in that first week by our team. And that's to ensure that stuff doesn't slip through the cracks. So I would say that's one of the major practices that we've implemented, is just having that lead management policy. And then the other thing too is just understanding where the client is coming from. You know, when a client clicks on a property and you get that lead, there's probably a 90% chance that they're not going to like that initial property that they clicked on, right? So how are you going to separate yourself as an agent, right? Are you going to just be like every other agent trying to get them, you know, just trying to make a sale happen? Or are you going out there to really build some rapport, maybe show them different options, maybe talk about the neighborhood, basically bring some value to the table so that you can build a relationship with that client and get the opportunity to take them to see other homes and tour other properties. So there's a big emphasis on our team of just making sure that you're coming out there with multiple properties to look at. The analogy I always use with my team is, hey, when you go to Foot Locker to shop for shoes and they don't have your size, what do? Right? They bring out 3 other shoes to choose from, right? They bring out more shoes, different sizes and all that stuff. You know, and they're trying to build that rapport and they're trying to give you some options. So we always tell the team, like, take 4 or 5 other properties that kind of fit that general description and see if you can make something happen there. So those are just a few of the practices we're doing.
Awesome. So what I hear from you, one, you said how policy, we have a lead management policy. So you have some best practices that you and your team employ. And the second piece of it was a technology, being your CRM. So you've got some automated follow-up to be able to keep up with the volume of opportunities that are coming your way. Cool. Prashant, what are like the top 3 things as far as best practices that you guys are following to get the conversions that you are and convert these guys into these prospects into clients?
You've, I think the first thing is the mentality is you've got to kind of inspect what you expect, is the bottom line approach we take with our whole team, right? So what we do is we have policies in place and we make it very enticing where people that are staying on top of the leads we're giving them and are converting and monetizing them, because these apps are evaluating us, then we turn on the lead rotation for that group of salespeople. And the ones that are not, we turn off the sales rotation for that week. So typically speaking, we encourage our salespeople and our team members to stay on top of it that way. So I guess simply put, one of the big things that we really talk about is when a lead comes in, we want to make sure we're calling them 3 times in a row until we get a hold of them. We're sending them a text message, hooking them up on our IDX platform right away, and then calling them every single day until we set them up. But like Enrique, I think with online leads, getting introduced to them, making sure you understand that they're already at the middle or bottom of the funnel and not overqualifying them, right? So like a lot of times when you're taught with online leads or just leads in general to say, hey, if they're not pre-approved, if they're not this, if they're not that, then you shouldn't even meet them. Or if they're not willing to come to your office. At least that's how I was coached when I got into the business. Yeah. And then I had to unlearn a lot of that when you're working with online leads, right? So they're calling because they like 123 Banana Street. So your first thing is you want to make sure that you qualify them a bit, but you might have to go meet them there and do your buyer consult there. So it's understanding why they're calling and then not trying to put too many hurdles between you and that person getting face-to-face.
Awesome. So again, it sounds like having a policy. The common denominators I'm hearing here are, you're using technology to call, text, and email them, after that initial inquiry. And then Enrique's saying, hey, don't just show them that one property, but like come armed with that like the Nordstrom, for example. The difference between Macy's and Nordstrom, right? And you go in there to buy a suit or a shirt or something, And if you pick one out, you know, at Nordstrom, the guy's coming up, he's got like 3 different ties. He's like, hey, I found a few ties that might go with that, as opposed to just wanting to ring you up. So that it's that extra level of service, which is interesting because when we talk about our experience with Zillow, Zillow is really driving a metrics-driven business now, where they're measuring not what we call consumer experience score. This is not to be confused with reviews, because what they said about the reviews that you see on Zillow is like, hey, we realize with the Zillow review system, it's really a testimonial platform, right? Because you're not going to ask your frustrated, upset clients to leave you a review. You only ask the people who had a good experience. But now they're measuring each lead or each client as they pass them off 24 hours after they ping them with a text survey, 2 weeks after, and then 30 days after. And so what their vision is, and I think probably if the other portals aren't doing this, soon will, is they want to know that, one, these people are getting taken care of well, because that is the name of the game. And then number two, that who they're handing them off to, these agents, are doing a good job at converting them. So Kelly, why don't you share with us, like, what are you seeing as your best practices in both like lead management or that kind of thing, or how are you handling those opportunities as they come in?
Well, since we're not doing in-person open houses anymore and you don't have body language, what I focus on for my best practice is really getting down and learning that script. You really want to memorize, improvise, and then internalize it, or memorize, internalize, and improvise and make it your own. So when the lead comes in, you know, you really want to make sure that you're ALM. So you're setting the appointment for the property that they want to see, and then asking some follow-up questions. Like, is this the only property that you're interested in, or would you consider other similar homes or other locations? You also want to follow up and see what their motivation is. You know, why are they looking for a home? Is it because the home is too small now and they need an extra office or, you know, space to homeschool? But you just really want to be consistent and persistent, like they were saying in the follow-up. And then you also want to role play the script. You want to get the marbles out of your mouth. And you want to not sound like a robot, but you also want to connect with the client over the phone enough where they do want to set that appointment with you. And then when you're at the property, you can follow up with them and, you know, go over a Zoom call and go over the market and build more value.
So you touch on a number of things there, Kelly. One is having a script, right? And so this is one thing that is different, right? If you built your business mostly on sphere of influence, you haven't been maybe as careful of exactly what you say and how you say it. But as you go to work with more opportunities that are people who don't necessarily know, like, and trust you out of the gate, we have to earn that trust. And we do that by showing up in a strong professional way that's to the point, that articulates the value that we have to help them. So as far as your scripting, like what are the, maybe just not necessarily going through the script word for word, but what are some of like maybe the bullet points or high level things that are important to get out on that initial call? Because I think what we're going to pivot to right now for everyone who's listening is that third topic of how to convert these online, you know, window shopping buyers into loyal clients. And to do that, there's a 2-step process, right? The first thing is we got to turn that either email lead and phone call into an appointment, or if it's an inbound call, turn it into an appointment. So Kelly, what are you saying or doing in that conversation? What's your formula there?
Basically just introducing myself and where I'm with Brett Jennings Real Estate Experts. And I see you're calling on 123 Main Street. When are you able to view the property? Are you able to see it tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon? Basically, my focus is to really get that appointment nailed down and confirmed with the client. If it's owner occupied, even if it's vacant, I always want to say that I am going to reach out to the seller. I don't want them to know I'm not the listing agent, because half the time these leads don't know the process. They think that when they're calling Zillow that they're getting the listing agent. And then I'm also going to ask them and follow up, is there any other similar properties that you're looking at, you know, that we're going to take some time out of our day to view this one property on 123 Main Street. We might as well see a few others that might be comparable to that. And also, what has you searching for a property, and how long have you been looking? Is this something that you've been searching for the past year? Did you just start? You know, are you a first-time home buyer? And those are some things that I would follow up with. And sometimes I'll try to set an appointment before we meet at the property to build my value, go over the market and my value proposition, and get them as a client.
So one of the things I heard you say about your process now, which is like a pretty big divergence from what when I first got into the business about connecting with buyers, was like, as soon as I had the first conversation with a buyer, it's like, okay, come into my office. Let's sit down. Let's talk real estate. And what I'm hearing from you is that that's not necessarily the way the trend is moving now. That,
Right.
that as companies like Zillow and Redfin and Realtor are becoming more consumer focused, it's less about like, hey, you, Mr. Buyer, got to do business our way, and about us as agents kind of adopting and aligning a bit more to what the buyers really want. And that's is they want to see a property and being willing to meet them. So curious to hear what the other panelists got to say about like what's your process for turning these window shopping buyers into loyal clients, as far as like that first step from either lead or call to that initial appointment. Prashant or Enrique, you want to go ahead and lead off?
Yeah. No, I agree exactly with what Kelly was saying. You got to book the appointment first. So we got to understand the logic of the client, right? When they click on a property, they're not necessarily looking for an agent. They're looking to see that property, right? So you got to give them what they want. Give them what they want first, then build your value, then get what you want, is you want to turn them into your client, right? So I think right off the bat I totally agree with Kelly, is set that appointment. Hey, you're calling on 123 Main Street. I have some time today or tomorrow. What's a good time for you? Let's go see that home. And then you start asking all the other qualifying questions. You can always cancel an appointment that you booked, right? So let's say you book the showing, it's tomorrow at 4, then you start asking all the pre-qualifying questions and you realize they're just not ready to buy, or there's no way they could buy. You can always say, hey, you know what, on second thought, I think you should talk to my lender first. So you can always pivot in that direction. But the hardest part is just getting that commitment for the appointment. So totally on board with what Kelly's saying.
Awesome. How about you, Prashant? Like what's your formula for getting that first call to the appointment?
Yeah, I think with online leads specifically, you've got to give them the house. When can I meet you at the property is basically what we lead them off with. And it's kind of what I shared earlier, is we don't want to overqualify them like we do with some of the open house leads, perhaps because we've already met with them. And with online leads, we just ask, hey, are you already working with an agent you love, right? They say no, that's great. That's one of the things that we check for. And then the second thing is, hey, if you did like this property, would you be willing to work with me and our team? If they say yes to both of those, we're good to go. We don't really overqualify.
Cool. I like that question. Are you already working with an agent you love? Like the you love part, right? Like, because what we know is if you just ask the general person who's calling in on a property, are you working with an agent? Just like if we walk into Nordstrom and they say, hey, can I help you? You go, I'm just looking. So the natural deflection or knee jerk, if you ask someone if they're working with an agent, they will say yes, even if they're not committed. So I like that. It's a soft way to find that commitment. Awesome. So we talked about like how to convert that initial inquiry into an appointment. How are you guys really getting these people as clients? Because like, again, when I spoke earlier a little bit about the fact that when we transitioned from doing mostly sphere of influence business to getting a bigger portion of our business online, we have to level up our game. Because, with sphere business, you don't have to have the most out listing presentation or even a buyer presentation to get that person as a client. But now, when you're coming across a prospective client who's maybe encountering 3 or 4 agents as they're going around looking at properties, what are you guys doing in how you're presenting yourself, your company, your offering to get those people as clients? So, Enrique, let's start off with you.
Yeah, so I think right off the bat, what we got to understand is that the vibe that you bring when you show up to that appointment, they say the vibe attracts your tribe, right? So you want to make sure you're bringing that good vibe. You're making them feel good about the meeting. You're sounding excited, to be there. because I truly believe that building rapport and developing that trust and getting them to put their guard down is probably one of the most important factors, you know, in getting someone to work with you. Because if you think about it, the purchase contract's the same for every single agent. How you write the offer is pretty much the same. You know, we do a few things different here and there, but 90% of the process of buying a home is the same, right? The difference is going to be in that relationship that you've built with the agent. So I'm really encouraging, you know, the agents on our team, like, man, pretend this was your first time buying a home, right? Like, how do you want someone to make you feel good about the process? You know, no question is a dumb question. Make sure you know, they really feel like you're taking care of them and you really have a genuine interest in helping them succeed in this thing. So I'd say bring that vibe, bring that energy. I tell my agents, do a vibe check before you walk into the room. Before you go through that door, check your vibe. What's my energy like? How am I making this client feel right now? How am I showing up to the table?
I love that. It's like who you are and how you show up is half the thing about winning that appointment. Kelly, what about you? Like, what are you doing to differentiate yourself or stand out from, you know, if they're talking to 2 or 3 other agents, how are you getting these people to choose you for their?
Sure, good question. So I'm showing them, I'm not telling them. I'm positioning myself as the market expert, and I'm going over the raw data with them and showing them trends for the past 3 years from the Altos report. And, you know, just setting their expectations right. Also, we have a value proposition. You know, we're one of the very few teams in the area that'll offer an 8-day cash close, even if you're financing. Also, we have coming soon properties in a market that already has low inventory. This opens up additional options for you. Do you see how that can be of value to you? And that's something that I try to go over, you know, in the meeting or at the property to get them to sit down and meet with me.
Awesome. So having some unique differentiated value propositions, either through off-market properties, 8-day cash close, and we can talk more about that when we get to talking about writing winning offers. Sure. But it sounds like just having that, being able to make yourself stand out with something unique or different to land that relationship, that's what's working for you.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Prashant, what about you, man?
Yeah, very similar to what both of you guys shared, right? So we've got a really cool structured buyer consult packet, right? So, and we've got them printed so that people grab them as a magazine cover. And if you need cues on what to do with our value proposition, people can flip through them and we hang out and just kind of say, hey, we've got a flow chart. Here's everything I want to cover. Most importantly, whatever we've got, this is more of an interaction. Stop me, ask me, and I'm here as a resource. In terms of some of the unique propositions, we definitely emphasize the off-market thing. And then kind of as far as what Kelly said, you know, doing research and bringing them. If they're specifically talking about, hey, I've been getting beat up in Cambrian, San Jose, for example, right? So we ask people to jump in on Vulcan.com, pull up the expireds and expired and FSBOs and canceled in Cambria and say, hey, we've got another 3 off-market ones. Block out sort of the address and put in the details, the asking price and the details of, hey, it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1.1 million, 1,300 square foot house in the zip code, right? So and then you pull that out as part of it. Hey, if you work with me and my team, we've got exclusive off-market access like that. And then on top of that, we don't use the 8-day cash close. That's really good. So once we get that program started, I'm stealing that from you guys. Thanks, Brett and Kelly. Sure. But another one that I like a lot that you guys should steal is, it's not really stealing, right? It's rip off and duplicate. That's why we're all here learning from each other, is the whole fix and flip thing, right? So, you know, I always say my business partner, his father has been an architect contractor in the Bay Area for 31 years. Myself, you know, I've done a lot of fix and flip projects. So one of the things that I'll protect you is not only when we're looking at a property that might not be perfect, I'll give you some context on how much it would cost to fix. And on top of that, I'll introduce you to 2 to 3 contractors that might be that are going to do it for 80 cents on the dollar, right? So make sure you're not getting ripped off, and I'll advise you so you can get to the dream home.
Awesome. Yeah, we had created something similar. I love that. We called it. We would ask people, say, hey, have you guys ever seen the show Property Brothers? And then they'd say, most people have, right? Some people haven't, but if they have, then it's like, oh, well, my business partner are kind of like Property Brothers, right? So if we happen to find a home, we call it our turnkey home upgrade solution that will bring the contractors, the resources, and even the financing to help you get that place dialed in. So that opens up some options for people. So I think the common theme, right, is one, elevate yourself, not just as an agent, but elevate yourself to the position of expert. When you're interacting with these people, come strong, like be present, engaged, have great energy, like Enrique was talking about, and then have something different to offer them as far as unique value propositions, so that you stand out and become the agent of choice with them. So those are awesome. Now let's pivot here and talk about, because first we talked about at the top, right? What are the top 3 lead sources? We talked about Redfin Partner Program, OpCity, and Zillow Flex as options. One thing in that we didn't kind of dive into, and I want to possibly expand on for some people who maybe are running teams that are listening to this call. You guys all said Redfin, OpCity, and we talked about Zillow Flex, but was this concept of fishing pond. So, in many of you who are listening, fishing pond, what's that? Like, it's not a company. So what is it? So fishing pond is, for those people who've been running teams, it's taking all of these leads that maybe aren't ready to buy right now. They're like, yeah, thanks for calling me, but I'm not ready to buy this year. We maybe are a year out or what have you. And then putting them in a category we call archive, right? And then putting all of those in one big database. And then continuing to market to them either through your CRM, sending them properties, but also calling those people from time to time. So what kind of results have you guys seen from what we call this fishing pond, and how has that been working for you? So Enrique, you want to chime in, or any one of you who've had some results from it, maybe you could share.
Yeah, I'll chime in real quick. Yeah, so we have an archive probably of like 4,000 or 5,000 leads. These are online leads, open house leads, just different sources. So we'll have, if any agent on our team doesn't have any business or is looking for opportunity, they can spend their time just hunting from there. So usually, like the newer agents that join our team that are just trying to get their business, their pipeline full, they're spending a lot of time in that fishing pond, and they're booking a lot of appointments. A lot of times agents say, hey, I want the hot leads. I want the brand new ones, and you don't want to give a brand new agent the hot leads, the brand new ones, and have them kind of fumble it and learn the scripts on a brand new lead. So it also serves for training, right? They get to call those leads that are already in the system that are being nurtured. So I had like an agent on my team, shout out to Mauricio. He came in like first or second week with us and booked like 3 appointments from the fishing pond in one day. So it's like he had nothing and now he's busy, and now he's writing contracts and getting people and, getting offers accepted. So it's a lot of success, and it gives your agent some wins right off the bat, right? If they start getting some wins right off the bat, they're going to be that much more motivated and that much more bought into, believing in your systems and stuff like that.
Anyone else, Prashant or Kelly, you guys have any experience to share around the fishing pond?
Yeah, do you want to go first, Kelly, or want me to go?
Sure, I'll go. Yeah, so we have a pipeline. We have a CRM. It's Boomtown. Right now we have just over 50,000 leads in there, but I think in our fishing pond or holding tank, there's probably close to 20 or 30,000. I was in there the other week and I made 3 calls and I set 1 appointment for a buyer seller lead. And after that, I confirmed the appointment because he's never talked to me before. I sent an email with a bomb video just introducing myself with some more of my Zillow information. But I know on the team alone, we have 5 agents who've already converted and sold the fishing pond leads. And we've probably pulled out over 100 nurtures. And you can take as many leads out of there as you want. It's how many calls do you want to make? And there's some gold in there.
Yeah, we like to say there's gold in the old. So this just points out, and I want to hear from you too, Prashant, but this just points out this concept that we started the call talking a little bit about mindset, right? It's important to have a different mindset about online leads, because in reality, these are human beings who had an interest in real estate. And one of the big takeaways that I got from one of my coaches was, he's like, Brett, your business is your database. And he's like, actually, it's not your database, it's your data bank. That's the way you have to think about it. And he's like, because, and you never ever throw away a contact, because unless they're either homeless, like they live under a bridge, or they are a forever apartment dweller, they will buy or sell real estate in their lifetime. Our only job is to stay in front of them in a meaningful way. What do you mean meaningful? Like if you own a house you're not in the market, once a month getting an email with an update of like, hey, what homes have sold in the neighborhood, just so you know. And once a month is a frequency that's not really annoying, but you're still in front of them. And if they're a buyer, you know, you're sending them, if they got interest in buying, it's just how frequently you're sending them properties. He's like, if you do that and then you call them every 90 days or twice a year, like those people are going to buy. So that is like a huge takeaway that's been a game changer for us, because you know, we've been at the online game for almost 10 years and building this big database. We didn't really start the concept called Fishing Pond until a year ago. But like we've pulled out probably close to $1 million in commissions just out of that one resource alone. Prashant, I want to go to you real quick. Any other thoughts on this Fishing Pond or experience you have there?
Yeah, so one of the things, you know, everything you guys are saying is really cool. And we spent an awful amount of resources, and I interviewed, you know, probably about 20 to 30 top team leaders and talking to them about their best practices for the database. And here's kind of what we came up with. And we've got like a 60 touch cadence that we do with our database now. And I think about 46 or 48 of those touches are automated now. And the rest are, like you said, manually driven. So, you know, the big concept I wanted to get at is, hey, if our agents could only decide to call 100 people a quarter, how can we get the database to rank itself and say, here's the 100 people you're going to get 20% of effort and 80% of results with, right? So what we did was, number one, we started doing video-based email newsletters, right? So, and then when we get these reports on everyone that's watching the video, and then the next hottest one is everyone that's at least opening and clicking it on the email, right? So those are the top of the list that people call them back with. Next thing we do is all of our listings and a bunch of content, even like stuff like this, we'll post them on Facebook, and we get a targeted list of our whole database uploaded there, and we retarget them specifically. So, and then we give them open house opportunities and all these other things. Anyone that interacts with us, that's who we call. And then the last thing for sellers we've done, there's a really cool email-based value thing, right? Like Z-Estimate was cool when it came out in 2000s. Now everyone and their mother has their valuation site. So those are not that cool. But there's an app called HomeBot, for example, right? So it says, hey, with this equity, you could buy a second beach house. Oh, with this equity, you could turn this into an Airbnb, and this is how much you can do on cash on cash. So they have these really cool tools that a seller's interested in and will click on and play with, right? So we do that for all of our sellers. So HomeBot.
Got it. HomeBot's a great resource. I've used that personally myself. So what the formula I'm hearing from you is, like, these people who aren't ready to transact right now, keep them in your database and stay in front of them consistently. Use value-based content, either property information, or, you know, email, video newsletters to stay in front of them, and watch those people who are clicking on those things, because those are the people who are engaging. Awesome. Let's pivot, guys. Let's and wind this. We've got just a few minutes left, but assuming people, you know, they know where to go now to get some of these opportunities, you know, and if you are a newer agent, you're looking for a great home, I would recommend, you know, if you're a newer agent looking for a home, recommend getting on a team. Prashant runs a team, Enrique runs a team, I run a team. They can help you fast track your path. But if you are a solo agent and looking for those opportunities, you can connect with UpCity, UpCity, Redfin, or with Zillow Flex. Right now, it's an exclusive partnership, but we have access. If you reach out to me, I can help steer you in the right direction there. But let's talk about, they got the opportunities now. They've got them on the phone. They've set the appointment. They've secured them as clients. Now we're in the field. We're showing properties and we're writing offers. And this is another place where you can either get your butt kicked or you can crush it. And you guys are crushing it. So when it comes to writing offers and getting offers accepted, let's go through kind of like maybe top 3 best practices that are really making it happen for you. So Enrique, do you want to kick it off and share with us what you guys are doing, or what your mindset, or what's your practice on writing winning offers?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the major things that has worked for myself and my team is our work starts before we submit the offer. You know, our work starts when we identify that property that the client is interested in. And it's kind of like when I meet with a buyer, right? It's bringing that vibe and that energy and connecting with the agent, the listing agent, because I think that's what's going to separate you from the other agents. I work on a lot of listings, and you would be surprised that there are not a lot of agents who call and talk to the listing agent before submitting their offer. I get blind offers all the time where I just get an offer. The agent doesn't even call me to see if I received their offer. And then later on, I sometimes will say, I'll get an email, hey, what happened with my offer? And I'm like, all of this stuff is built off relationship, right? So because we've been in the biz for a while, there's a good chance that I probably know the listing agent, or I know someone who knows them, or we're connected on Facebook or LinkedIn. So I'm going to use that to my advantage. So it'll go something like, I'll pick up the phone, I'll call them, I'll introduce myself, I'll bring up how I know them. Hey, it looks like we're connected on Facebook, or hey, it looks like you're friends with Nick, Betancourt, my buddy, over at KW or whatever, right? And right off the bat, like I'm breaking the ice, right? I'm breaking the ice. I'm getting them to drop their guard, and I'm like just being real cool. I'm giving them a glimpse of what it's going to be like to work with me through that transaction, right? If you ever work with me and I'm representing the buyer or vice versa, it's smooth. Like I don't like drama. I like to be smooth. I want to make sure we're laughing. Like I want it to be a good time. I've been doing this for too many years. I'm not going to stress over stuff. I want to let them know that it's not going to be a stressful deal. And I'm just really looking to find out what it's going to take to make that offer happen. What does your seller need? What's important to your seller? What kind of timelines? How do you work, Mr. Agent? How do you go over multiple offers? Do you counter offer? What's your style? How can I make it easier for you to accept my offer? So I think that's the big thing. And I'll leave the rest of the stuff to Kelly and Prashant on what happens next. But that's what I do.
I love it, man. I mean, it kind of goes along the lines of what you talked about when you talked about winning the buyers over, was really showing up strong with great energy, by really engaging and making it make them like you, and then it's going to be easy to work with you. As a listing agent, I know like if an agent it's that fine line of being persistent but not pushy, right? That I'm like, I know this guy's good. He's going to be on top of it throughout the whole deal if his buyer gets accepted. So that's a really great point there. Prashant, you want to give a quick point on a point or two what you guys are doing to make your offers stand out or get your buyers' offers accepted?
Yeah, like Enrique had shared, I think a lot of agents watch too much $1 million listing before they come into the business. They think it's them versus the other agent, kind of going bull versus bull. But what big thing that we kind of really talk about is the other agents are also your clients, right? Like, and that resets sort of your mindset, saying, hey, not only do you have to win over your client, but you've got to win the other person over, because you don't just get a buyer into contract. You have to win versus multiple offers.
Yeah.
So that's number one, right? So we do a lot to build a relationship, and then the second thing, like Enrique had stated, this is really your chance to sort of do with the seller, you do a listing presentation, but here you do the buyer offer presentation, and that's your chance to stand out and say, hey, listen, even if it's not just the terms, I'll make this so easy for you, you can go on vacation. I've done that on the phone a couple times, but our offers are extremely organized. We've got an offer summary so they can just look at it and not have to peek through. And then we break the offer packet into 3 different packets, right? And then they have cover sheets and everything. So offer packet 1 is all the contract essentials, including the signed avid, and we outline what the contingencies say. Offer packet 2 is pre-approval and proof of funds, and offer packet 3 is all the disclosures bundled together. So we put that together and email it out. So not only is our conversation and telling them, hey, if you accept this, you can go on vacation. We tell them that, and then you follow it up with a great email.
Awesome. That's good stuff. And then Kelly, what about you? What's been your top 3 takeaways for getting your offers accepted in a competitive environment?
Sure. In addition to all those really great points that you bring up, I also call the pending sales. the ones that haven't sold yet and closed, and just really see if the agents, even open to talking to me about how many offers they received and at what price they landed at. Also, if they can share with me the terms, that would be great and very helpful. The reason is I'm trying to see how many offers they received on a similar home, on the home we're going to make an offer on. If there was 5 offers, then I know that there's 4 other buyers out there who didn't get the home that are already pre-qualified and ready to go. The other thing I like to do is I look up the listing agent and the MLS, and I look at their past sales, and I want to see if there's a trend on how they price their properties. Sometimes they're all going to price them like $200,000 under, or way under. Some listing agents will always suggest to their sellers price it at what you want. Some of them might be overpriced. So that will give you a good insight on what to possibly come in. The other thing I like to do is offer to my clients the 8-day cash close with HomeLight. They are only offering it, I believe, Brett, correct me if I'm wrong, to a few top agents in the area. But if I have a buyer who's looking in a competitive price range, I will have them get a pre-approved with a few different lenders, including one traditional lender and the HomeLight 8-day cash close, just to have it in our back pocket. We're not going to need it, if we're the only offer or the seller is living in the home and they want a 30-day rent back potentially. But I make an offer initially with the 8-day cash close, and then I'll have the listing agent come back to me and say, hey, we don't need to close that quickly, or you're not the highest. If you can come up to this price, we'll let your buyers have the property.
That's gold right there. So one of the things in a competitive offer situation, right, it's about having the best terms, price and terms, right, so your offer stands out. And that one principle alone has gotten us more like first right of refusals, I'll call it, with buyers, because just by writing the offer with an 8-day cash close, we don't have to necessarily be the highest. But if we're anywhere near the top, and you've done the things that Enrique's talked about, like you've been present, you're like, hey, you build rapport with the listing agent, like Prashant said, you deliver a really clean offer package, and then you've got these killer terms where it's like, hey, my buyers can close cash in 8 days. Even if you're not the top offer, like we get calls back from the listing agent like, hey, you're not the top, but if you guys will match the top offer, you guys can get the property. So that is an exclusive program through HomeLight for just top teams right now. And we are a select partner with them. So if you want details on that, you can get with us offline to learn more about it and see if you might qualify as a team owner to offer that to your team members. Or if you're an individual agent, reach out to us. But I want to open it up to Q&A real quick to see what questions we have online. My mouse just went a little dead here on me. So if someone can see in the chat what questions we have coming up, I'd be happy to field a few of these for our panelists. We'll go on. We want to be respectful of people's time because most of you guys probably allocated an hour. So we'll allow 5 minutes for questions. But let's see if we have any good ones here. Okay, now my information is here. So questions from anyone there, just put them in the chat. Prashant, can you outline your 3 offer packets, please?
Yeah, so, we typically break it down into the offer packet. One's going to have the purchase contract, the relationship document, and our Avid signed, and just the first pages of all the disclosures. So everything they need to just double check that the terms are there and that they don't have to go through 600 pages. So this is typically 10 to 15 pages. I'm happy to share the cover sheets, send them out to Brett so he can send it to anyone on this email list.
Cool. Yeah, and for those of you who do want to get on our regular list to either receive a replay of this call or join our monthly mastermind where we will be hosting content like this. If you found value out of today's session, our commitment is to continue to deliver awesome content from amazing agents, not just under our roof, but just all throughout the agent community. And so I'll put that in the chat right now. There we go. And any other questions here from, if you go to bearealexpert.com, that will bearealexpert.com. SuperAgent.com. It's in the chat there. Oops, I put it privately. I went to put it publicly. How do I do this to everyone? There we go. Cool. Any other thoughts or questions from people? Do you guys prefer Facebook ads or Google ads? From Scott Perry. Anybody want to chime in on that one?
I've only done Facebook ads, so I haven't done Google ads for retail real estate. And Facebook ads right now, since COVID, have been extremely cheap and great ROI.
Yeah, Facebook, again, coming top of funnel, you got to go through a lot more of them. You know, the focus of today's call has really been about, you know, these buyers that we can convert within 30 to 90 days and all of that.
But Brett, to challenge that thought, you know, taking your pond and retargeting them with a custom list of just people in your pond is a great way to see who's 30 to 60 days out.
Yeah, so you're going to get those people to raise their hand, put them in this big pool, then put content out there, and those people engage with the content. Those are going to be your more bottom of the funnel opportunities. I agree with that.
Correct.
Do you guys use showing assistants and ISAs to streamline the process?
Yes.
Yes, Enrique, ISAs?
Yeah, we have ISAs on our team. A lot of the newer agents start off kind of as the ISA role, and they'll have a senior agent that's assisting them in closing their first few deals. And then we've just started to implement kind of the showing assistant model where we're taking some of the agents who are not as busy and can use the experience and paying them an hourly rate to go show homes for some of the more busy agents. So just creating leverage opportunities within the team.
Yeah, we're doing the same here within our group. Kelly, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I just hired an ISA. She's currently organizing the tours for me and getting those Peds signed, but eventually she will be showing properties. And we also, like Brett said, we have 3 showing assistants.
Yeah. One question popped up, referral fees on Zillow or Redfin and OpCity, at what rate? I think those are going from 25 to 35%, yeah? Yeah, depending on the leads. Cool. Couple last things in closing. We do, my passion in this business is coaching. I got into real estate. I love growing the team, and I like growing the team because I like to mentor people. And I make myself available for those people who really want to grow. And so in follow up to this call today, I will be offering for a limited number of people, a business assessment. So if you meet these criteria, and I'll spend 30 minutes with you, kind of do a deep dive on your business, where you are, where you want to go, and give you my best advice. Whether we choose to work together or have any involvement going forward is regardless, but I'll deliver value as we have here today. So I do only have 20 spots available over the next 2 weeks because I'm limited on my time. But if your criteria are you're at 10 transactions a year and you want to grow your business and you're willing to invest in marketing, I can add some great value to you. You would just go to my Calendly link, which is www.brettscalendar.com. I'll pop that in there and grab a time. Again, the other option is to join our monthly mastermind. If you go to that bearealexpert.com, you'll see a series of videos and content that we've put together. This session we did today will be highlighted in our blog, so it'll be there for replay if you got some nuggets that you missed a thing or two because you got interrupted while we were on this panel. The content will be there, and you can get that. So any other thoughts or questions from the group or the panelists before we wrap it up? All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for making the time, taking the time. I hope this time was valuable for you as it was exciting for us to share. And like one of my friends says, if we don't see you at the top, we'll see you from the top. So let's get there together. Have a great one, guys.
Thank you.
Prashant, Enrique, and Kelly, I sent you a quick text message. If you can check it, let me know if that works. We could take just a couple minutes.
I didn't get a text.
Oh, right here. Sorry, I didn't push send.
There we go. Assuming.
Yeah, if we could just take like 3 minutes, because the intro got cut off. So what I would do is just we'll re-record the intros if we were live.
You want to end the meeting and we can jump back on?
I could, this Ray Cardone, oh yeah, we still have 39 participants on. I'll end the meeting and then we'll jump back on.
Okay.
I'll see you guys in 1 minute.